Thank you all for. And I'm not by myself today. It's a brother in Christ helping me with reading the live chat if you have any questions. But first, can you hear me clearly? Let me know if there's anything with audio right now, first, please. Am I in full view or not? Am I in full view? Oh, you can see my top of my head. Okay, then this is go a bit backwards. Am I in full view now?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to write big on the whiteboard today. So just so you know. By the way, can people hear me clearly? Just show me with a thumbs up if they tell me they can hear me. The light just on the left, on the right of you, I mean. Hold on.
No, nobody has answered.
Oh, nobody's answered yet. Okay.
Oh, Diane.
There's an echo. If you hear an echo, that's on your mobile phone or whatever you're using. Because last time you said there was an echo, I checked it and there was no echo whatsoever. So it may be your device or the connection you're using. Everyone else, can you all hear me clearly? Let me know, please. Well, the Wi-Fi is working fine, so that's good. Meanwhile, let me start making some notes. All right. Well, let me use this big one. I think it's better. Alter. Get any answers? All right. Well, hold on. Let me check something over here. Hold on. Check something over here. Okay. I checked it myself. There is no echo over here, so all right. For some people, we're not that responsive in the live chat today, but anyway, let me just begin. An alter. I already explained it in the live from yesterday. An alter is a physical enforcement. That's what an alter is. The goal is to shape public thinking. By shaping public thinking, you also shape public behavior. I write British English, so it's going to be a U in behavior. Americans don't do it, but I will write British English, just so you know. So we know what the alter is meant to do. It's a physical enforcement to shape public thinking and eventually change the behavior of the public. All right? If you haven't watched the live stream yesterday, please watch the live stream, please. And okay, so this is what the alter is meant to do. But understand, alter can be both used for good purpose, for good, and for bad. A good use for alter would be to motivate productivity in a community. To motivate productivity would be a good reason to use alter. A bad reason to use alter would be to demotivate improvement. There can be a bad reason to use an alter. A good reason for an alter would be to break misfortune cycles. Break misfortune. A bad reason for an alter is to insist on unconditional obedience. And this is something society loves to do. Insist on unconditional obedience. You never challenge what society expects from you. You always just do what they tell you. By the way, tell me if there are any comments, please. So, alters can be used for good and for bad. One thing about our species is
Someone
that,
say that sounds correct.
hmm?
Someone say that sounds correct.
Okay,
This goes philosophies.
that's why I asked you all to tell me if there's something with sound. But anyway, okay, this should fix it. We've been already 10, 5 minutes in, but anyway. Well, restart your device, please, or your browser, because I just changed to data. So it should be working better now. All right. Check your phone. Okay, so the sound is all right now. Okay. All right, so that's good now. So, okay, that means I can continue now. And human beings have the tendency to want to escape. This tendency to escape simply means people don't want to investigate what goes on, just want to be left alone and be at ease. Now, this tendency in the human species is a dysfunction, it's a defect, it's extremely blameworthy. But because it's something we all have, though to the fall of men, we tend not to be hard on it. But it is a big dysfunction. Because it's a dysfunction, we tend to get along with what's the strongest around us. So, for example, beating children. There's no way you can justify a grown man or woman laying hands physically, laying their hands on a child. But for centuries, people just got along with it because it was dominant. They all had it happen to them. So I thought, hey, we survived, so you can survive too. It's only recent that scientists keep pointing out over and over again that beating children is actually quite retarded, stupid, and you shouldn't do it because you're going to develop harm for the community later on. So, what you should what we should do is, we as human beings should have to examine things, but often we don't. Often we just want to get along with stuff. Now, understand the following: because of human beings having a tendency to just get along, just to be left alone, human beings tend to be neglectful. Now, can you prevent people being neglectful towards you? No, you can't. What you should do is never neglect yourself. And that's why often a lot of people, when it comes down to daily life, they're unfortunately neglected themselves. And that's why people tend to go to the paranormal. It's witchcraft and black magic just to get things done in life. We shouldn't do that either. We should follow God's guidelines. Oh, here comes another issue. Church, which we think will assist us in following God, is not doing that. Instead, church is teaching you how to be a polite victim. Let everyone have their way with you. That shouldn't be the case either. So understand an altar, as for is a physical enforcement. The goal is to shape public thinking towards a certain behavior. Okay? So nobody builds an altar just for fun. An altar is built because of a specific purpose and outcome you have in mind. So you want to enforce a social or financial outcome. That's why you have an altar. There's a social and financial outcome you want, and you want to push the community in that direction. Now, first thing first, is this clear to you? All of this. Let me know in the live chat, please. Is it clear onto you? Let me know. Because if you don't understand this, there's no use to continue watching the rest of the live stream. Are there any responses? All right, because next thing is I'll be giving some examples of how pagans in general enforce outcomes in daily life. And with each example I give, I will tell you what's the risk of it and how we as believers can do it much better. So hold on. Just let me know. Is this all clear onto you now? Let me know in the live chat, please. Okay, it's clear. Good. Now I need to erase this over here. And I'm going to tell a few stories. These stories truly happened. I'm not going to mention names. I'm going to change the names of some locations, not because I'm into privacy, but because it's not necessary to say who's about. This is just stories that happen in real life. I know some of these people. Some of them I don't really know, but anyway, let's hear this. Here you have Jack. Okay, call him Jack. Jack is 18. Okay, just finished high school. Here's his energy field. Okay, Jack also had good grades. Jack is now enrolling into university, and Jack really wants to get involved sexually with opposite sex for finally. But he's not the type of guy that goes to parties, all of that. He's not into all that. He just wants things to just happen. So he tried to talk to a few girls, to a few women. None of it worked out. So eventually, one day, he was talking to his cousin. His cousin's name is Robert. Robert is 17, a bit younger than him. Okay, this is Robert over here, and his energy field. And Robert told him, yo, Jack, you always had this issue talking to girls, right? In the world, they tell you you're a bit shy, you do this and that. No, it's all bullshit, man. Listen, Jack. You have some negative climate around you in your energy field. So this is negative climate. Though the stress of how your parents raised you, you have this victimhood written over your energy field. And because of that, a lot of people, including women, tend to think they can treat you less because they feel like they can get away with it. And Jack thinks, is that right? Whoa, what do about it? Now, Robert is not a believer. He's doing juju. Stay away from juju, folks. And Robert tells him, listen, do this. Go into the corner of your room. So there's a corner of his room. Get a table over there. Yes, here's a table. And on the table, put a picture or pictures of the ladies you like. Bring some sage, bring some candles over there also. Bring a bottle of water. And then go online, check some manual how to summon up marine spirits, and begin to actually meditate on it while looking at the pictures. And also make sure you're sexually excited when you do it. Jack thinks, yo, Robert, I'm not really into all this spooky spirit things. Robert tells him, yo, Jack, what do you have to lose, man? So Jack thinks, you know what, let me just do it. So Jack orders a table online to a retail store. He builds the altar in the corner of his room. He lives in a student dorm anyway. And he actually, online to social media, he prints out the pictures of the girls he was into. He puts it there and then begins to do it. He cites the chanting to the marine spirit, begins to energize himself. He does the meditation. And guess what? Just 5 days later, one of those women that he had over there on that picture text him, said, hey, do you like to come to my house? I need some company. I feel a bit lonely. He thought to himself, whoa, how did she get my number? So he asked, how did you get my number? My boyfriend gave me your number, but please come. And he thinks to himself, whoa, what the heck? Long story short, this Jack ends up having sexual encounters with all the girls he had there on that table, the pictures of it. After a year, having sex with almost 5 women throughout the year, he was thinking to himself, whoa, yo, this alter thing is really working. Yay. Okay, that was the first story of how an 18-year-old, a teenager, under the influence of a teenage cousin, did a sex spell, and it worked out. But now, this was the example. For those that paid attention, what is the danger that comes with this? Just tell me now in the live chat, what's the danger coming with it? So let me know. Because I'm going to give a review of the situation and why it's not the best thing to do and what we believers can do instead. But just tell me first, what was the danger in this situation? Let me know in the live chat, please. One moment. It's good. I'm borrowing the phone of the one helping me now so I can read the live chat immediately. Oh, someone stats about to have paranormal side effects. Another individual stats side effects too. Okay. So one comment just disappeared. I don't know why that comment disappeared, but anyway, it's true. There are going to be some serious side effects. Absolutely. Now, the first thing is, remember, the reason why Robert had difficulty getting involved with opposite sex was because it was a mark of victimhood. On him. This mark of victimhood, which was a thick wound in his energy field, it triggered others to feel comfortable treating him as less. That other people are still responsible for treating him less, because people shouldn't give into it, but still, he had this mark on him that made it attractive for people to treat him less. You know what I mean? Is the mark still there? Yes, it is. So the problem is not solved. It's still there. All that happened was he got some relief by some demonic aid. And this is really what happened. When he did this thing over here, let's say this is a Jack. He's there doing the meditation. Through his energy field, because I'm giving you the signs of what was going on. When he was doing this, a vortex was generated coming from him, and the vortex was generated, and the vortex went out. Okay? And this vortex, it went like this. Let's say one of the girls here is Lisa. Okay? And this is Lisa right over here. This one is Sarah. And Sarah's right over here. This one is Emily. Emily's right over here. Emily, other one is Sarah. Lisa lived 3 kilometers away from him. Emily, 9 kilometers. And Sarah, 14 kilometers. Okay? He generated this magnetic vortex, which till 20 kilometers is quite effective. And it's especially effective within 10 kilometers. All right? Now, guess what? Lisa was within 3 kilometers. So when this magnetic vortex was generated, his mind was also focused on Lisa. So now, with the aid of the altar, with the vortex, there was a magnetic echo coming from the ether, because he was triggering the ether upstairs with his activity. So there was a magnetic load coming upon Lisa. And this magnetic load, in combination with the sexual vortex that was generated, brought a sexual occupation, actually pulls Lisa in his direction. The same eventually happened with those other two women. Now, if they were beyond 20 kilometers, this would have been quite difficult to do. But then that's exactly what ended up happening. All right? Oh, but here's the issue. This is just a magnetic activity that he triggered with the altar. But his own energy shield was still wounded by how he was raised by his parents and everyone else. So let's say all three women get sexually involved with him. He still has a mark of victimhood. So at some point, those women that feel comfortable treat him as less. And by the way, if others see him getting girls so easily, others may become jealous and envious of him. And guess what? He's already energetically wounded. So it's quite easy for others to physically violate him, to beat him up or shoot him or stab him, whatever. So this guy, Jack, he got relief, he got ease, getting things easy. But there was no actual solution because he was still energetically wounded and in danger. And that's one thing about the pagan use of altars. Pagans tend to look at it like this. If you can get it done, it's good. That's what pagans think. If you can get it done, it's good. Pagans often, not always, they don't sit down and look at the whole scenario and think, you know what? I can get this done and it will work, but you know what? Maybe it's still better not to do it because it also can go the other way. Now, I know pagans are practical, they know how to get things done. But because they get things done, they get used to just getting things done, and they tend to lose sight of the potential risk that comes with it. Okay? Now, and those three women, in this case, they had no idea why they suddenly got so interested into Jack. They just ended up sleeping with Jack, or they ended up dropping their boyfriends or whatever to be with Jack. Of course, they ended lost because it was a paranormal attraction, but nevertheless, it works. So in this case, Jack built a sex altar and triggered a magnetic movement in the earth. He triggered the ether on those females, and he used his own sexual vortex just to get things get his way. There are a lot of guys doing this. Teenagers, men in 20s, 30s, even above 40, there are men doing this. But listen, this type of thing, using sex altars the way pagans do it. Now, a sex altar in itself can be used for good by believers, but most of the time people build sex altars just to get sex easily. That's what men use it for. This will always backfire on you in horrible ways. First of all, you get drained and exhausted because, listen, you're not powered by the Holy Spirit. So that means you can get exhausted doing this. And you also get exhausted because now you do the activity that will also exhaust you, energizing yourself, generating the vortex, all of that. And now there are demons eating off your energy field also, draining you more. And then when the women come, you also have to sex them also. You see what I mean? So you get exhausted. So what should believers do in a situation like this? Jack, instead of listening to, let me put this away, instead of listening to his teenage warlock cousin, he should have gone to an actual, hold on, older dude, maybe a guy called Frank, who's 50, an actual pastor. And the pastor's done an anchor on him and say, Jack, you have some scars in your energy field. You need deliverance. So do this, change your way of thinking, disconnect from your parents for a little while. And then eventually, if that would have been the case, Jack would have been healed energetically from that mark of victimization. And now, any sexual encounter will have with opposite sex will be a healthy and a sustainable one. Because now actually something has been solved. You follow me? So understand this, the people you associate with, they have an effect on you, whether you like it or not. All right? So I want to go to the next example now. But before I go to the next example, are there any other questions about this example? Let me know. Let me know, please. Let me check. All right. Okay. I didn't see any questions here.
Lion says your screen is blurry.
Okay, well, that's not. Sometimes when I get close to the camera and back, it comes with blurry, but doesn't mean it's blurry all the time. If it stays blurry, you need to refresh your browser, please. Are there any questions about this example specifically? I'm going to give a different type of example now, but I want first to be. Okay, I got a question. Do he verbalize or just meditate? He does both. When pagans do sex spells on sex altars, they verbalize it and they meditate at the same time. But most of all, they energize themselves in a magnetic way. But can women do things like this, Rashid? Well, they can. Women are not magnetic, so they need a little bit more of the demons to do it. But guys, so warlocks or wannabe warlocks can do it easily without much involvement from demons. But as you know, Satan always comes to collect. So if you do paranormal things, demons eventually come to reap the misery that comes from it as a side effect. All right? Ruth asks, can someone know that that happened to them? You mean can a woman knows when a sexual pool has been generated onto them by a sex altar? Is that what you mean, Ruth? Let me know. By the way, this live stream may take a bit longer than an hour because I'm going to give in-depth examples now, but just so you know. Okay. Let's say Ruth, hold on, let me put this over here. Let's say Ruth, this was you, okay? Ruth. But Ruth is a female believer, okay? Let's say this guy also has an eye on you, Ruth, and he has your picture also in the altar. When he's doing this vortex and all of that, you're a believer. When the charge comes from the ether onto you, the echo, it begins to kind of crash on you. And you feel a bit heavy. And you think, why do I feel so heavy? And for some reason, you feel heavy and you see this picture of this guy in front of you. You say, I never met this guy before. And then one day, you walk in the supermarket and you see the guy whose face you saw when you felt heavy. And I think, what? I saw this guy's face in front of me. I never met the guy, I never seen him in real life. Then you ask me, who's this guy? And tell you, oh, that's Jack. He's a college student. And then you want to know more about this Jack because you thought I felt heavy and this guy's face came in front of me and I was suddenly seeing him in real life. So as a female believer, if this is done on you, the echo from the ether will kind of crash on your energy field as a woman. You'll feel heavy because of it. So the attraction will not work unless you are an undelivered female believer. If you're a female believer with toxic issues that are not they're not processed out of you, only then will it work, because then you have pollution that bonds with the pollution that this man has. But if you're a female believer and you have no pollution in your own energy field as a female believer, then this cannot work. With women who are not believers, it works 90% of the time, even they're married or in committed sexual relationships with other men. But with a female believer, it will only work if you have pollution inside yourself. Without pollution, it's just going to crash on you. So let me see if does this answer your question, Ruth? Let me know. Let me know. Does this answer your question? Okay. Yo, check the Wi-Fi ring. Or put it on. So now I'm going to erase this. Then I'm going to the second example. All right. Okay. Good. Now we're going to use a male example again. And here you have a guy called James. James is energy field He's a painter. He's 41 years old. He's just 41. Yeah, he has 41 years. Years old is something to say in English, and you start doing that. He's just 41 years on the earth. We don't deal with being old over here. All right? Now, James is a painter, he's 41, and he is in debt. All right? Now, James barely had any revenue for his art. So one day, James thinks to himself, you know what? I really want to break through. So this is what James is doing. James has 85 paintings. All right? He also has 200 sketches. Then he builds a website. Okay? He even buys ad space. A space for advertisement on Instagram, Facebook, all those other places. But nothing works. Now, what James is not aware of is that, okay, this is James over here, this energy field. There is this cloud of hinder around James. It's kind of sticky onto James. This cloud is the resistance from the public. Think about it. If James breaks through selling his art, he'll make more art, he will sell more. He will be in the newspaper, he will be on the news. He's going to gain more influence in the community. And with that leverage he gets in the community, he will also gain maybe political influence or financial, economic influence. And people want this. People don't want to put up with James, tell them what to do, or James have something to say above them. They don't have to deal with, they have to get along with what James wants. They want James to remain this pathetic artist who never breaks through. Because people already gave him a role in their life. He's a pathetic artist who will never break through. They're talking about when nobody wants to see his ugly paintings, blah, blah, blah. So people already gave him a losing label. But here's the thing. He has all this darkness around him, which is generated by negativity from the public. James, one day, is there anything wrong? Okay. James one day thought, you know what? Let me go to a fortune teller. Oh, Lord. He made a big mistake over there going to a fortune teller. He did. And let me tell you why he made this big mistake going to a fortune teller. Because when he went to the fortune teller, the fortune teller told him, listen, you have a lot of blockages around you. That's why you can't break through financially. But here's the thing you can do. Here's a charm you can use. Use this confusion oil over here, this confusion water, bathe in it several times, chant, and you visualize yourself successfully, and that will work. So this is what happens. James took the pot with the confusion oil and confusion water, and then James got to mad. And what happened was, when he was doing all of this, his energy field became open because he was energizing himself all the time, and demons, they pooped their excrement on him. That's why it's in green. Now, evil spirit, fallen angels, they're angelic beings, but they're fallen. Angelic beings are designed to eat up the joy of the Lord, and then they emit light and joy out of them. Fallen angels are not in heaven anymore. So they feed out, so they, instead of producing light and joy, they produce this filthy, green, stinking excrement on top of them. This waste, this stinking waste. So demons now smear the waste they bring forth out themselves on top of James' energy field. And guess what? Because of that greenish waste on his energy field, James now had the leverage. James now was able to bypass some of the resistance against him. And eventually, he broke through financially. And within 5 years, he earned over $2 million. Okay? So in 2 years' time, in 5 years' time, he earned over $2 million with his art. Why? Because he had this demonic excrement above him. Here's the thing. A charm only works for like 3 to 4 years. Minor charms is 2 to 3 years. A good charm, 3 to 4 years. So after 3 years, in his third year, there was he kind of went through a depression. So he renewed the charm again. But anyway, even in 5 years, he's a millionaire now, living a lifestyle of financial ease. And he was 41 here. Now he's 46. Okay. And he also now is married to a female who's also an artist. So now he's in a wedlock. He's quote unquote married to. So here, age 41, James was an unsuccessful artist, in debt, what they call single in the world, with people looking down on him. Here he was a 46-year-old millionaire, happily married, and he had recognition in the community. Now, one question to you. What is the sorrow that James is carrying with him? What's the sorrow that comes along with this? Let me know now in the live chat, please. Let me know now. For those who paid attention to my previous lives, you understand this. Hold on. Tell me what's the sorrow that comes along with this. Let me know. Okay, PsyQ gave an answer. What does the rest say? I want more answers. Okay, continue. I want 3 more answers from 3 different people, at least. What's the sorrow that comes along with this? 2 more answers, please. Okay, 1 more answer. What is the sorrow come along with this? Oh yes, thank you all for your answers. All your answers are great. All your answers are great. James now, this situation that he was in, with all the hinder from the public around him, all those dark clouds of negative tension, it was a bad situation. But guess what? He got demonic excrement. He got this slimy, stinking shit that demons produce on top of them. This greenish thing he got now over his energy field. So he's smeared in demon excrement, in demon feces. So he has energetic feces all over his energy field. But that means that all his dysfunction internally is still there. So he hasn't healed nor recovered. And he has demonic feces all over him. The demonic feces does withhold some of the retaliation from the public. But now here's the thing. Everyone in his life, mom, dad, his ex-girlfriends and all that, everyone used to see him as James. Just get a 9 to 5. You're not going to pay. Nobody likes your paintings. Nobody likes your art. Nobody asks for it. People are actually looking down on him. All the people that felt good about themselves looking down on him, now that he's a millionaire in a wedlock, things work out for him, their self-worth crashed because their self-worth relied on him being down. So now that there's the self-worth of the public is gone, there's going to be more unrest in the public. Because before that, people would look at James and say, whoa, he's 41 years old. For over 20 years, since he was 21, he tried to break through, still didn't break through. Well, at least I'm not pathetic like James, always trying to force something that will never happen. So people kind of felt easier about themselves by comparing themselves with James, who was worse off. But now, they can't do that anymore. So the unrest they get inside of them gets worse and it begins to act out. So since the time James broke through, crime increased in the community. There's more domestic violence, there are more arrests, there are more stabbings, a few homicides happened. So the community has more crime now. So one day, a police detective is investigating a crime, and the police detective notices one thing. Past 5 years, there's been a 250% increase in crime. But guess what? All the perpetrators of these crimes have one thing in common. All of them, one way or the other, were associates of James in the past. So the detective thinks, hold on a minute, James did not commit a crime, but why are all the people associated with him now committing a crime all of a sudden? So that police detective cannot go after James because James didn't commit a crime. But now the police can suspect that James has a bad influence on the community. Well, here what goes on. All those people that were associated with James, who looked down on James, who were responsible for hindering James in his life financially, those people now, that hinder cannot affect James anymore. So it all goes back to them. And now that hinder caused them to collapse. And now that collapse caused collateral damage in the community. So eventually, people realize, hold on a minute. For the past 5 years, we have a lot of people lose their mind, committing a lot of weird crimes. Domestic violence, a few murders happened also. 5 years ago, things were more easier than now. There was still crime, but it was more easier. And eventually, we realized, hold on a minute, but 5 years ago, there was no James, the artist, around. How come since James, this artist, blew up, suddenly you have all this crime in the community? Because the public realized there's a link between James breaking through this barrier and crime increased in the community. They know James is not the villain or the bad guy that caused all the harm, but they do realize that James breaking through and becoming a millionaire, they have at the same time it went worse for the community. So people can associate the getting worse of the community with James' prosperity. They are linked because James was held back by resistance from the public, but now because the public resistance couldn't happen anymore, the people got frustrated and they lost their mind. So eventually, the public will turn on James. His wedlock partner, quote unquote wife, will run away when it gets too difficult. So this is a disaster ready to happen. Okay? Now, what should have happened was the following. Okay? And now I'm going to tell you what should have happened. So let's take this all out. Okay? James should have turned to Christ, and this would have happened. Okay? This James over here. He turns to Christ, and internally, he begins to heal. Once he begins to heal internally, and he begins to cast out evil spirits, suddenly, a lot of the people that were energizing this tension towards him, they're now blocked for coming near him. Hold on. I need to get a better... here it is. So what would have been a block between him and the people generating all the hinder towards him? Because here, all the hinder was affecting him and weighing him down. Here, because he begins to walk by faith, decree, the kind of all that, there's a block that happens now. Suddenly, friends, quote unquote, family, or associates, a lot of people on his social media stop talking to him. A lot of people even block him on social media. In real life, a lot of people begin to avoid him. Suddenly, he loses a lot of social contacts, and he gets a bit depressed. But here's what happens. Because he walks by faith now, there's a block. So the dark clouds cannot harm him directly. And after this, eventually realize, you know what? I need to learn to enforce things. So this will be James then. And in this condition, okay, here's the blue, my bad. With a blue energy field, he's actually enforcing his influence around him. And now the public, with the dark tensions, are still around, but it's shut down. You hear me? Don't get it twisted. There will still be some hinder here and there around him. Okay? Let's just see over here. There will still be some hinder here and there around him. But the public is shut down because he overrules them with these powerful emissions in the faith. You hear me? Now, this scenario over here will eventually happen. In the beginning, first a block needs to happen around him towards all toxicity. He has to process all of this, and then he'll become like this. And this would have been lasting. So here, he'll end up, same 5 years later, age 46. But now at age 46, he may not be a millionaire, but he has around $500,000 as a net worth, and he's safe. And now when he gets a wife, it'll be a safe woman that supports him. Is this example clear onto you how it should have happened with James and not how it did happen? Is this clear on to you? Let me know in the live chat, please. Okay. By the way, some of you may have known people like James in your life. Maybe it wasn't a man, maybe it was a woman. She used to sing, but nobody wants to hear her sing. Suddenly, she's breaking through on YouTube now, singing all over the place. I didn't think how this just suddenly happened. Then you find out she's talking about crystals and chakras, all that. You realize, aha, she turned to the New Age and paganism. Listen, any gain you make with Paranormal 8 is a double time bump. The retaliation from the mass is still there, so that will overtake you when the charm expires, and there's going to be sorrows coming with it. The fact that the charm will expire itself is a stress on you that can break you eventually. Well, Psych you were like James, but you're not like James anymore. You're now an improved James, is what you are now. Listen, in the first example, James used Paranormal 8, okay? And he became a millionaire, around $2 million. And he got a partner very quickly. But God's way was for him to be delivered fully from all the danger and to overrule all the toxicity around him. So in God's plan, James would not have become a millionaire directly, but he would have been wealthier than before, without debts and all of that. And eventually he will get a partner, but the partner will be one that will be sustainable with him. With Paranormal 8, he got the partner quickly and the money quickly, swiftly. And the swift change, he wasn't prepared to deal with it because he was still in danger, still not delivered. All right? So don't be like the first James. Be like the second James over here. Things may take a bit long in your life. And let me tell you from experience, it can be frustrating. And sometimes you get angry thinking, Lord, what the goes on? Why do it take that long? Let it happen. Because I've known people like James. I've known people like this, multiple of them. Some of them were women, a lot of them were men. They blew up financially. They didn't because only one of them became a millionaire, I believe, but now he's in prison, I believe, for trying to shoot someone, something like that. But anyway, they didn't become millionaires, but they all blew up financially. And when it comes to the sexual, they got a sex partner very quickly. Things just happened. And I, as a believer, was still going through attacks. A lot of attacks. I had witchcraft attacks. I had psychic arrows thrown at me. And it went on and on and on. I was thinking, Lord, how the heck am I serving you? And the only thing I get is being kicked around and all of that. I realized, I need to change my attitude. I need to shut this down. So I realized I need to shut this down. I'm going to do that. Things are going to work better in my life. I was like, Lord, why the heck do you allow me having to go through all this crap? Then I realized, hold on a minute, Rashid. How long have you been on YouTube? Almost 10 years, Heavenly Father. Oh, those other people that came to YouTube or came to Spotify, whatever, years ago. Where are they now? Oh, I don't know, Father, where they are. Where are you? Well, I'm still active. Guess what? You're sustainable. They were not. You know what I mean? So God's way keeps you sustainable. God wants it to last forever, that you are sustainable forever. With the paranormal, you have smooth success swiftly, and it's only a season. And when the charm expires, you need to renew it. Or you can do the Baphomet oath and get around a decade of intense ease, or maybe 20 years if you go deep into devil worship. But it's never going to be sustainable, ever. Okay? You hear me? And by the way, James was a painter making beautiful paintings. James was also making beautiful sketches. James had quality that could benefit the community, but the community treated him like trash. So the community wasn't even worth of James' success. James would have been better off going to another community where he could blossom. But anyway, that's why you need to follow God's guidance. Simple as that. Okay, going to our next example now. Hold on. Oh, hold on. This USB thing shouldn't be here. I'm going to use a female example now. Okay? Okay, so I need to draw it a little bit more cuter because it's a woman, but okay. Okay, let's a small energy field because it's a woman. Hold on. Okay, not going to do it blue. This is Jessica. Okay, Jessica is 25. Okay, Jessica is a nurse. Okay, so you have this 25-year-old nurse. Okay. Oh, I need to use this one. And Jessica lives in, let me think of a city. She lives in Sydney, Australia. Australia. Okay. Jessica, 25 years old, lives in Sydney, Australia. By the way, I'm not going to mention the real name of this individual, but I'm just using an example. So Jessica, 25, lives in Sydney, Australia. Okay. Jessica had a horrible family. Mom and dad were both out of their mind. They were narcissistic, and she didn't have many female friends. One day, she goes to a local nightclub at the corner. She has this nightclub at the corner that she visits there in Sydney, together with a few female associates. She had a girls' night out. Okay? Now, when she walked in the nightclub, some of the guys looked at her because she's a pretty girl. Some of them just want to have sex with her quickly and all that. But she was not into that. She only drank a few cups of beer and she hung out with her friends and she left. And she went to the nightclub a few more times. One day, you have this guy called Stephen, was the owner of the nightclub, approaching her. Stephen had focused on her. Now, Stephen approached her just to be friends, quote unquote. Because Stephen already had a wife. Stephen was married. So Stephen just wanted to be friends with Jessica. So Jessica thought, oh, okay, don't worry. I mean, I can use an extra friend. I mean, he's the owner of the nightclub. If I'm there one time and I'm bothered, I can always call on him. They exchanged numbers, began to talk and all of that. Jessica was quite naive, really naive. So eventually, after 2 years, Jessica now was 27. She had an affair with Stephen. All right? And during this affair, she gained popularity. She became like a local celebrity. Even at work, things went well with her. She even got promoted to be the nurse in charge. I know how to be called in hospital. She was like a manager at the hospital. Like a manager. Now, Jessica was not a witch. She was not doing things with the paranormal. She just had this belief from church, if something's meant for you, it will happen. Don't force it, just let it happen to you. So she developed the attitude in life, let it happen to you. She had the let it happen mentality. Now, eventually, she broke off with Stephen. She was 28. And now there were a row of men she was dating. And after 2 years, age 30, she got with a guy called Hank, a Dutch guy. Hank was, he was a bit older, 38, okay? But they moved in together. They cohabit together. Okay? Now, can someone please tell me what is seriously wrong here? Let me know in the live chat. What is seriously wrong over here? Let me know. I'm curious for your answers. paid attention to the example that I just explained to you, but what is seriously wrong here? Just let me know right now. I'll give you 2 minutes to answer. By the way, how long have I been on the live already? Can you please check it? You can see how long I've been on the live already. No, you can see it.
1 hour.
Oh, 1 hour, okay. Okay, I got one answer. I want you all to give answers. What is seriously wrong over here? Okay, I got one answer ready. I want at least 3 more answers. Okay, it's a whole mess. Okay, you can be a bit more specific, Q, but anyway, I want 2 more answers. What is seriously wrong here? I'm about to explain it anyway, but I want it to get out of you first. Okay, let me go through it one more time very quickly. You have Jessica. She was 25, a nurse living in Sydney, Australia. And she had this let it happen attitude that she was taught in church. And she ended up going to the nightclubs with a few female associates from her. And eventually, Stephen, the owner who was married, had an affair with her that lasted for a little over a year, after 2 years of so-called friendship. And while she had an affair with this warlock who ran the nightclub, things got better in her life. She became a manager at the local hospital. And eventually, after she broke up with the warlock, she ended up dating for 2 years. And then she encountered Hank, who was a bit older than her. Now she lives with them, thinks, oh, this man I'm going to stay with. Now, I'm glad for your answers. If anyone has another remark on this, I'll give you 1 more minute to answer. I just repeated the scenario. If you have any other remark on it, say it within this 1 minute. Then I'm going to explain what's really wrong here and how it should have happened. Okay? I got some good answers over here. I'll just wait 40 seconds more, and after 40 seconds, I'll just go further. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Psyche and Joanna. You both pointed out completely. When she was 25, she had a naive church mentality, just let things happen. If it's for you, it will happen to you. Jesus taught us to walk by faith. That means to trust the Heavenly Father and enact this trust by being active here and now. Jesus never promoted this lazy, lay on your ass attitude to just let things happen to you, good or bad. Jesus never taught this. Okay? So she had a destructive mentality. Okay? She thought, oh, I'm a believer. Yeah, you are a believer, but you're undelivered. So there's no protection at all at work. So, because of this undelivered female believer end up going to a location that's toxic. There, eventually, all the guys came to talk about her. All the guys wanted to bang her, to have sex with her, but she didn't do it. But the owner came thought, hey, I'm the chief warlock over here. I should get her first. So our guy said, yeah, but you deserve it. But the warlock was already married. But anyway, the warlock wanted to have his way with her, and he succeeded because she just let it happen to her. I mean, how could you allow that to just happen? But anyway, it was doomed to fail, but the warlock had a charm, and she benefited from his charm. And because the warlock had a good reputation in town, nobody knew the warlock was sleeping with her, but she benefited from the warlock's charm and his good reputation. And that's why she got higher up at work. What she didn't know was that some of the medical doctors that work at the hospital were buddies of this warlock. So so they thought, you know what, this girl is sleeping with one of our buddies, one of our brother warlocks, so let's help her out. So even the promotion at work came from her sexual affair with this warlock. So eventually, when that all ended, she still had the promotion at work, all of that. But look at this. The management job at work exhausted her. So she had a lot of stress in life. And then when the warlock broke off the sexual thing, she had a lot of stress for 2 years trying to look for relief with other men. And she found a man that actually received her in all her stress. So all of it was just relief based. She was not the witch doing anything with an altar, but now you had a warlock using an altar on her, and she got benefits from the warlock doing some sex spell onto her. Sometimes women get short-term benefits when a man uses a sex spell on them. Okay? In this case, it happened. Stephen was a local warlock. He had more easy cash flow, had a good reputation as a married family man with a nightclub promoting all that weird shit. But anyway, he had a good reputation in town. So she benefited from that and the altar he had. So she got collateral benefits by being associated with this guy sexually. But eventually, it all drained her, and now she's with that man that has all types of issues unresolved. It's going to lead to domestic violence soon. But Rashid, I thought you said she was a believer. She's undelivered. She's not walking by faith. It means she's still as defective as any other worldly woman. If she would wake up and realize, you know what, it's not going well with Hank, let me repent and walk by faith, suddenly things will get better. But hey, things are going smooth around her, so it's not very likely she's going to change. So this is what should have happened. Hold on. At some point, she should realize, you know what, this Stephen is married, but he keeps talking to me. You know what? I'm not going to let it happen to me. Hell no. It's not going to just happen. Stephen, you're a married man. Get away from me. Bye. And then she should realize, you know what? I need to look at myself. Because this letting it happen attitude that I was taught that my mom and dad were promoting is not good. So you know what? Let me pray more, look for other beliefs myself, and eventually she would have healed from all her wrong ways of thinking. And eventually she would have become blue, as I call it, a safe woman. And eventually, maybe at age 28 or 29, she would have been with a godly man. Okay? She got to start a family with a guy or whatever. The fact she ended up at age 25 in such a condition already means she neglected herself earlier on by actually self-reflecting. So at any point, she could realize, you know what, this is wrong. I need to get out of this. But hey, she just got along with the flow, got along with the ease. Whether you're a man or a woman, when misfortune is playing out, it is always smooth in the beginning, and suddenly you have to crash. So she got along with misfortune, but because the misfortune gave her some ease, she thought it was good. Now, let me erase this now because it wasn't example enough. I want to explain a few things. Let me explain the following to you, okay? Here you have 3 balls, okay? Which one did I use? Hold on, guys. I think I had another one over here. Another black. Oh, well, here it is, here it is. You have 3 balls we have over here. All of them have sour cream. Sour cream. Okay, you have 3 balls of sour cream. This is just plain sour cream as it is. Here's one with, here's an outdated one. With mold growing into it. So there's green mold growing all over it. And here, hold on. Oh yes, here it is. Here you have one with some strawberry sauce in it. Okay, this one had some reddish flavor to it. You have 3 balls of sour cream. Let's call this one number 1, number 2, and number 3. So, okay, you have 3 bowls of sour cream. One with plain sour cream, just sour. One where there is mold growing into it because the bacteria are fermenting in it because it's been outdated for months. And then you have another bowl of sour cream, which is fresh, and you have some strawberry sauce in it. Which one would you want to eat? 1, 2, or 3? Let me know in the live chat. Which one would you want to eat? Let me know. Apart from Joe who is lactose intolerant, about the people who have no lactose intolerant, which one of the bowls would you take? I'll just wait for 1.5 more minutes. Which one would you take? Let me know. Number 1 is just plain sour cream. Number 2 is outdated sour cream with mold and bacteria growing into it. And that's number 2. And number 3 is sour cream with strawberry sauce. Which one would you take? Just tell me plain, which one will you take? I'll just wait for 1 more minute. I want your answers. Which one would you take? Let me just wait and see what I get out of this. I want 2 more answers from 2 different people. Which one would you choose? Let me see. Okay, 1 more answer for someone else. Which one would you take? 1, 2, or 3? 1, the plain one. 2, the outdated one with mold growing into it. Or 3, the fresh one with strawberry sauce. All right. A lot of people chose 3. Some chose 1. Well, let me tell you why I'm to give you 3 bowls. Because let me explain this to you right now. The plain sour cream is just a worldling, just a plain unbeliever. That's them. And sour cream, it's sour. So eating it itself is not a good idea, but eating too much of it will be dangerous. The outdated one with the mold in it is a reprobate. So narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, those are reprobate. Those are actually dangerous. Just being close to them right is dangerous. This one is pagan church or churchgoers. All right? Because think about it. It's all sour cream. This one has mold in it. So, of course, you shouldn't even want to eat it because there's mold in it. It's stinking, it's rotting, and all of that. Reprobate people, you automatically want to stay away from them because they're evil. Worldlings still have this sour, devouring quality to them because they operate in backwards, but you can still get along with them a little bit, but not too much. Those who go to pagan church, because the last example I gave was about a churchgoer or an unbelieving female believer. So this unbelieving female believer is like this sour cream with strawberry sauce in it. Because of the strawberry sauce, you will not taste the sourness of the sour cream. It's still sour cream, but a little bit of strawberry sauce makes you think, oh, it's a delicious dessert. Well, let me tell you, it's not a smoothie. Because this is actually a smoothie with good quality in it. This is not a smoothie, it's just sour cream with a little bit of strawberry sauce. The strawberry sauce makes you think it's a sweet dessert, but it's not a sweet dessert. You eat this, you have too much sugar in your body because of the sweet sauce, and the sourness also can devour your body also. So with this one, you're worse off with both of these. If you eat the plain sour cream, eventually you think, man, this is sour, I need to stop eating this. This one you stay away from automatically, unless you want to commit suicide or whatever. And if that's you, look for help right now. Please, because nobody in the right mind is going to eat rotten sour cream. If that's you, if you want to eat rotten sour cream, look for help right now. Please, please look for help. But sour cream with a strawberry sauce, it looks like a delicious dessert, like a smoothie, but it's not a smoothie. A smoothie has real vitamins and nutrients for you. This one is just poison. It's actually worse poison than this one, because this one it has mold and it's stinking, it's mold, and you know to throw it away. You know to throw this one away. But this one you shouldn't even eat. But it tastes delicious because of the little bit of sweet sauce in it. Well, let me tell you, a lot of believers out here, this is what they have. This is a fortunate for many believers. They only have extended relief, either by the pagan church attending, or some believers think they can mix it with paranormal things. Anyway, most believers, this is what they have. The sour cream and strawberry sauce. They don't have the full blessing to operate in. This one is sustainable. An actual smoothie in real life benefits your body. Sour cream with a strawberry sauce destroys your body. You shouldn't even be involved in it. Well, symbolically, a lot of believers have extended relief. Things just work out. And you think, oh, I'm blessed because things keep working out. Okay, but in which direction is it working out? Don't even answer questions. A believer who's walking fully in power will face a lot of hindrances in life, but eventually they're on top of it. So this is how it looks like. Let me show it to you over here. Here you have number 3. Here you have a believer. Let's just a female believer, for example. A female believer over here with a feminine energy field, very small. And she has all this darkness around her from other people. You have people close to her with darkness, but she's a layer of ease around her. And the layer of ease she has is not from the Heavenly Father, it's demonic. So she has a demonic layer of ease around her. Not a full charm on her, but just a layer of ease around her by the demons. And not just ease when she's around. So she has ease. All right? How it should be is like this. You have the female believer. A big energy because she walks by faith. Her walking by faith burns down much of the negative contention around her. She'll still have some hindrances here and there affecting her, and all those bad people eventually flee from her. This is, hold on, let me use this over here. This is peace. All right? We are meant to have peace. So we overcome danger and evil around us. We're not supposed to operate in ease. Too often we look at people with ease and we glorify them. Because operating in ease, that's something that pagans have too. Pagans have the ease. Sour cream with a strawberry sauce is what they have. The believer has a real smooth that's beneficial in the long run. All right? So, we're using altars to enforce a social or financial outcome. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a good thing to do. But make sure the altar you build is for Christ and purpose, so you can enforce, you operate in peace and not in ease. Because ease will always backfire on you. Guaranteed. It's guaranteed to backfire on you. But Rashid, how do we enforce things to an altar? When you build an altar, that's already pushing direction into the community. You don't have to be like pagans repeating repeating songs and decrees over and over again. Because pagans trigger things in a mechanical way. We don't. We relate to the Heavenly Father in a relationship, and we do trigger things in the earth, but we also receive His feedback and go along with His feedback. So if you're praying for a financial increase at work, if you get a raise, the Spirit will put out to you, no, maybe it's better for you to get another job. Okay, so you get another job. At the other job, you now want to start your own business at the site. You want to build your own website, be a web shop, but web shops are often under attack by cyber criminals. So the Holy Spirit push you, don't build your web shop, open a tiny shop over there. Think, but Heavenly Father, it's going to cost more money to have a tiny shop. God tells you to do it, so you do that. That's what it means. Believers, when we build altars and we act, we follow the guidance of the Heavenly Father, which will always work out well for us. Pagans will have this guidance, so they only have ease mechanically. And that's why when things crash, it just crashes with them. Simple as that. All right. So I did a few examples now. And I also explained this to you. We need to build altars in order to enforce ourselves in a Christ-centered way. Pagans build altars to get things done in life, and they succeed in getting things done. But as we know, they have sorrows coming after them. We, as believers, we're the only ones on the earth able to build altars, use them, and not have any side effects. We will have retaliation to deal with, but that's something that's a given we'll get in this world. For now, are there any questions about this topic? Let me know now. Are there any questions about this topic? Mm-hmm. 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 Are there any questions? Let me know. I'll just wait for 2 more minutes to see if I get any questions. If not, I'll close down the live stream. I've been on here for a while now. I'm about to go into town, The Hague, with a brother in Christ over here. I'm also going to make some telephone calls while we're outside, so that's going to happen too. So I'm going to stay in fellowship after this live stream, and I'm going to call a few people also on the phone, other believers also to talk to, and the brothers here too. So it's a Sabbath, and I stay in fellowship. Praise the Lord. But for now, are there any questions about this topic and how to use altars? And why we shouldn't do it the pagan way? I'm glad you enjoyed this, PsyQ. By the way, PsyQ, if you PsyQ, I have one request for you. You know my email. Send me an email with your phone number, with your cell phone number. Then one of these days, I'll give you a call. We can have a telephone fellowship. Okay? If you have WhatsApp or Telegram, that's even better because then I can call you without being charged. So send me an email soon. Okay, with your phone number in it. And we can have a fellowship one time through Telegram or WhatsApp, whatever app you have. That would be much better. Okay, I got a question here. What happens when the charms are about to expire, but before it does, they change their mind and begin to agree with Christ? In that case, everything will just crash around them. That's what will happen then. Would frankincense and myrrh be a better option to burn? I'm not very familiar with those, but if it doesn't cause toxic pollution in the air, you can do it. All right? By the way, PsyQ, are you male or female? So I know how to address you properly because a male believer should be addressed different than a female believer based on our design. Are you male or female, PsyQ? Let me just tell me that in the live chat, male or female, so I know that. Mm-hmm. Female. Okay, then I know that. Okay, thank you. Well, anyway, I didn't get any more questions. Thank you all for being here. Brother, here's your phone. Keep on agreeing with Christ, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy the Shabbat, and remember, use altars or the extended version of your temples for the glory of God. Be at peace. God is good. Amen.